Okay, good afternoon and happy Friday, everyone. Big welcome. We're live here from Deirdre's garden. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was up here. I am going to be squinting, so apologies if I have any wrinkles around my eyes. I probably have to get Botox after this class. But if I have my sunglasses on, I always kind of think it's really rude when somebody talks to you with sunglasses on. So ignore the squint and the wrinkles. But about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was up here and I was showing you the ceanothus. And Deirdre's at that stage was still in bud. Hers, for some reason, is always a little bit later than everyone else's. And I said, listen, in about 2 weeks, this will be fabulous. And as you can see, I have a bucket of it here. I was off foraging. Mrs. Bouquet, the lady of the manor, she gave me permission. And I've lots of it here. And I'm going to make a door wreath. And really, this is going to cost me absolutely nothing. Now, because I'm working outdoor in the garden, and normally I stand, I don't think I've ever done a door wreath sitting down. But the thing is, if I stand up, this table is very low, and you might get an eyeful, you know, that way. So it'll be safer. So between me wrinkles and an eyeful, I'm going to stay sitting down. So what you need is a frame, and I'm going to use these twig rings here. Now this one is a little bit crooked, so I'm going to use that one there, which is it's a little bit crooked as well. But you know what? Either or either of them will do. And these twig rings, these are very inexpensive, and these are available from O'Neill's Flowers up in Carlingford, County Louth. And if you go onto their website, they have different ones. So if you prefer a different, you're going to see very little of it, okay? But if you prefer a different one, yeah, pick one that suits yourself. These are actually made by a company up the north in Ireland called Enchante. Now, maybe they're actually not made by them, but that's the company that brings them into Ireland, probably fresh from China. So you need a base. You could use a straw base, but I am going to allow some of this base to show today. I'm going to do more of a crescent half moon display rather than going all the way around, because I always do the all the way around, so I'm trying to be a little bit different today. So what you need is a roll of real wire. Lots of people call this mossing wire. We call it real wire here at the school. Don't ask me why. Now, anyone that's watching, because I can see there on Facebook, we have loads watching, comment below. Let us know what's the weather like in your part of the world.
And who's with you?
Yeah. Oh, who's with Mrs. K? Put your hand out there and give us a wave. You'll see her on Instagram. You won't see her on Facebook.
No, you'll see her on Facebook and not on Instagram.
Oh, the other way around. So, Mam is up here. We come up for a free lunch, we did. I was only working till 1 o'clock today. So, we come up for a free lunch, and then Deirdre said she get in and make the ceanothus door wreath now that you're here. So, we're making do with what we happen to have. Like I said to her, have you any wires? And like she brought me out a few of them, and she says, here, that's what I have. But I only need them for making a bow later on. Okay. So what I'm going to do is bunch, like normally when I do this with you, when I'm in the school, I normally get prepared and organised, and I make little bunches in advance. And lots of people say to me, do you have to have the bunches made? And to be honest, you don't. But when you're demonstrating, it makes it look like everything is real smooth and cool and perfect, okay, when all the bunches are made up. Today, I'm going to be paddling like feck, okay, and hoping that everything goes right, because I haven't prepared. As you can see, it's all just been cut off the tree, and I'm going to use it. Now, I did dunk it in water, okay, so that's all I've done, is I've just dunked it in water. So I'm going to start off like with narrower pieces, okay? And sometimes I bunch 2 and sometimes I bunch 3, okay, pieces of the ceanothus together. I'm going to rest it, and before I rest it onto the ring, I'm going to attach the real wire. The handiest thing to do is stick it through any gap at all in the twig, so through one side, out through the other. Make a little loop for yourself and give it a little bit of a spin. And there you go, there it is attached. Poor Jaeger is Deirdre's sheepdog, and he's going to be about that size when this video is finished, because Mam is in the background there feeding them all the time to keep them quiet. So we're going to get our 2 or 3 bunches of ceanothus. I'm going to rest it onto my twig ring, or it could be your straw base, and then what I'm going to do is just lift it up gently off the table, pull it tight, wrap it around 2 or 3 times in the same spot. And what I find is a little tip that a lot of people don't pick up on. Pull the wire then slightly over to one side. Sit around just pulling that on an angle. Then what you do is you do similar. Now that was only a small bunch, but I'll still use it. So again, I'm getting 2 or 3 bunches. But this time, I'm making them a little bit chunkier, okay? So they're just a little bit wider than the previous bunch that I made. Get in there at the back.
Viv Bradford is watching in from beautiful weather in sunny Stamford in Lincolnshire.
Brilliant. Great to have you here, Viv. Now also, And I will post a link in the comments. If Celine is watching, I've just been over in the Flowery Fun group, Celine, and I posted all these links in the little video that I posted there to say that I'm going live. So Viv Bradford and the amazing Sue Whale are both joining us for a free Zoom class next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Both of them write articles for the Floristry Trade Club, so they're going to tell you all about the Floristry Trade Club. But also, Viv has just recently published all the latest paperwork that you need when you're dealing with brides. So whether it's contracts, quotations, proposals, questionnaires, invoices, pay me
health
now.
and safety.
Health and safety.
What's the other thing you have to do when you go into it?
Put it all in the comments there, Viv. Fill us all in. So she has just published all the latest paperwork that you need dealing with brides, to be honest, just to make sure that your back is covered. And she's going to come in to us next Wednesday night and she's going to be telling us all about it. And don't buy anything yet. Wait till next Wednesday night because she always has an amazing discount for the K students. So again, I'm making little bunches, bit of a leaf on there. And again, you can see the way I'm kind of like slightly overlapping it. I'm going to come out a little bit wider here again.
If anybody has any questions, there's a good few people watching in today, Jeanette.
They're out in the garden sunning themselves.
This is
now,
it.
I know we have a module 1 running at the moment, and module 2, which is the continuation of that, will be starting on the 9th of June. And just to kind of tell you something funny about people sunning themselves, we have been waiting on the SkillNet link for anybody wanting to get the SkillNet discount. And Deirdre rang him this morning, said, Deirdre, half day, he says, it's sunny, he's out sunning himself. So he says, I'll have that link for you on Monday. And Deirdre said, well, whenever you do, Tommy, she says, don't get sunstroke. She said, we have our students depending on you, waiting on that link. Everybody is taking advantage of the fine weather. So again, you can see the way I'm just kind of starting to go a little bit chunkier. So I'm kind of bringing these bunches in slightly to the outside, wrapping the real wire around it. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, is this going to last, Janette? This is going to last about 10-12 days maximum. But you're at that stage. When will the choice be in flower, Deirdre?
Yeah, well, actually, do you know what, Jeanette? I didn't tell you, but we cut the choice here right back. There's only there's only about one flower on it this year. You have to wait till next year. But I have that.
You know what, Deirdre? Does anybody watching and you have a nice garden and you're willing to bring me mum and have a bit of lunch ready for her, and we can bring Jaeger and you can keep him fed as well, I'm quite willing to sit in your garden and to do this
if it's sunny.
If it's sunny, yeah, if it's sunny. So we've loads coming up. The following Monday, which will be the 26th of May, we have our Zoom class, our Zoom workshop, and that's going to be the floral wearables. So anybody that wants to learn how to do, whether it's floral jewellery like necklaces, body flowers, all sexy coming down your body, if you want to do pocket buttoneers, if you want to do the pocket lapels or the lapels for the floral jackets, the other way around, floral lapels for the groom's jackets for weddings.
Tie pins.
Tie pins. We've loads. We're going to do about 5 or 6 designs in 70 minutes. So I'll definitely be working a bit faster than what I'm doing here today. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to stop at this stage, right? And I'm then going to get the real wire and I'm going to wrap around the twig ring. Okay, so I'm just kind of like wrapping all the way around here until I get to about here. So you decide how much of the twig ring do you want to see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lash a bit more of this onto the table. I have to say the heat here is perfect. There's loads of water in the end of that bucket where it's actually been soaking. But I'm now going to start off with, again, skinnier bunches. So I'm looking for the skinny ones because, as I said, we're not really organised for today's one. And I'm now going to have the... I'll kind of have to stand up to do this one because to try and make it...
I'll bring the camera low down.
I hadn't got a pink bra this morning. That is exactly what was wrong. And this dress was a bit low. And the white ones, I had every colour. You think now me being mad about pink, I'd have a pink bra, but I didn't. But anyway.
Do you really have to tell everybody that?
We might as well, sure. They're probably guessing themselves. As I said, if I bend forward too much, you'll get an eyeful. So I'm just going to lash this on here, and I'm working kind of backwards. So again, just to kind of give you an idea how this is working. And you could do this on any sort of twig base, straw base, moss base. So the floral wearables, maybe if Celine is watching, she'll put the link up for that one. But you do have to pay for it. But listen, we've kept the course fee very reasonable. It's €30. And you will get a free email replay sent out to you the following day that you can watch it. Because as I said, it will be pretty fast. 5 or 6 arrangements in 70 minutes is going to be full on. But it'll definitely be well worth it. And then we'll announce the details of the next one then, will we, Deirdre? More than likely.
Have you got a plan? Have you, Janette?
I've got planned. But no doubt, again, I drive home, I'll be after planning something. So again, just to turn that around there.
That's
just
actually
so
lovely, yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim towards this direction. And I just kind of find it awkward to work kind of backwards, basically. So again, trimming up our ceanothus, and I'm now going a little bit wider because that's what I did with the last one. Do you remember I kind of came out to the outside of it a little bit just to make it a bit chunkier and then wrap it around. It's mad when you have to go against yourself, you know, that way you just kind of find it different. But I'm basically doing it as a left-handed person, I suppose, a lefty. If anybody does have any questions, I know the question they're all probably asking, they're all going to say, is that going to last? Bear with me to the end because I've loads of tips to give you about making it last and little secrets what I'm going to do. But I think that's going to be lovely.
I think it's going to be gorgeous.
There's going to be a row over whose door.
It'll be going on my door. It's my ceanothus. It's going on my door.
Does anybody know how to spell ceanothus? Put it in the comments there, and we'll definitely, it'll help other people out, because that happened the last time. Nobody knew how to spell it, and Shirjani Mackay couldn't spell it either. What else have we got coming up? Bloom is going to be the following week, so that's
right.
going to be exciting. We're definitely looking forward to that. Is anybody else going to Bloom? We're also after booking the dinner with, what's his name?
Neville Maguire.
You know, it takes nearly a year to get a reservation with him up in Cavan.
All right.
He's coming to the Phoenix Park and we just were able to book it, no problem at all. So that'll be something, looking forward to that. And Sinead, our virtual assistant Sinead, who's another sister of us here at Case Flower School, she's actually flying in from Scotland and she's coming to Bloom as well. So it'll be great. It'll be great crack. And it'll be great to meet up with a few of you because there is a bar. There is always a wine bar and a few kind of like little tents around selling the drink. But they also sell ice creams because last year we got ice creams at it as well. But it would be lovely to meet up with a few of you. So again, if anybody is planning on going, let us know in the comments and we'll organise a little rendezvous.
Yeah.
What happened to us last year when we were going, we're in Network Dublin. So Network Dublin is a networking event and they had said to us, they had a special offer on tickets, and they said to us, we're going to have breakfast with the president. So I even said to Mum, do you want to come? Like, we're going to have breakfast with the president. And we were having, you know, great slagging and great cracks in. I wonder now, will Michael D. Higgins be having a fry or will he be having Weet-Bix? But when we arrived, talk about being disappointed, it was the president of the Network Ireland County Meath. It wasn't even the Dublin one, it was the County Meath one.
Or the Ireland one.
It was absolutely, I thought, we couldn't stop laughing because we were convinced it was going to be Michael D. Higgins.
Leah McAvoy's watching at the moment.
Hiya Leah, how are you? Hope everything is well. Leah has a fabulous flower shop up in Rathgar. It's called, well, it used to be called the Flower Bowl Rathgar, and probably up around that area she's probably still known as that. But her own personal business name is Anna May Blooms, Anna May Floristry, Anna May Flowers. And we have her beautiful daughter Reagan with us at the moment as well, and I have to say she is going to be the most amazing florist. So again, anybody that's there, put the link in the comments there, Leah, and get in touch with her. She has some fabulous door wreaths.
Oh, she's amazing door wreaths.
The artificial door wreaths that she has, just amazing. I'm actually tempted to buy one myself, you know, that way, for when I can't get fresh stuff. So what I'm just doing around the centre here now, where the two areas are joining, is I'm just using up the little scraps off the table, and I'm just kind of catching them in here, kind of like for finishing it off. So see that I'm using these little smaller pieces, okay? I'm just kind of catching them in, and then a little bit of real work, just kind of cut around there, just to hold it. So what we have now is this little bit of a space in the centre.
Oh, Janette, we're going to be in Wexford next weekend.
Yeah, it's not Network.
No, it's the Chamber. No, but Skillnet are inviting us. It's the Wexford Chamber Awards.
So we're going to be in Wexford next weekend in White's Hotel, black tie effect. I'll have to get a black bra for that. Yes. So I'm just going to cut off my real wire, just kind of made it into a little knot, and just to let you see how that is. Now I would be kind of planning on hanging it on the door kind of sideways, but I'm not finished yet. What I have now is some ribbons. So Deirdre didn't have any rolls of ribbon here, but she had little bunches or little kind of like smaller rolls of it. So I'm going to use some of the real wire. And I'm going to start off by making a collar bow. So how you do this is you wrap it, pretend that you're wrapping it around your neck. You're bringing the back part into the front there. Scrunch that in there as tight as you can. You're going to get a wire and then you're going to wrap the wire around it and pinch the wire together at the back like a little bit of a twist. And then you're able to come along then and do your 2 little loops, pull your tails down and do your little fancy cuts on the end of your tails. You know where you can do that little dove cut up into the centre of it so that you get that fancy little tail at the end. Now that's just a single version of the bow. If the ribbon was working off the roll, I would have just made a double version of it. But because I'm working with strips, as I said, or make and do, I'm just going to do a second one. And this one I'm just going to make a tiny little bit bigger. And again, scrunch it in there, in the centre. Get yourself a wire. These are 20 gauge wires, but a 22 gauge wire would do. Again, I'm just using up whatever we happen to have. Again, open out our loops, pull down our little tails. You can place them together and you can cut the 2 of them down the same length. You should have just measured it right at the beginning, Deirdre or Janette, and you would have had a neat end. So just where one is going to be a bit bigger than the other. Do you see that effect? And then I want to do a triple one. So this is how I have a triple one. Can you see the third one?
Oh, the dog is probably gone with it. No, it's not. I think it's underneath.
Can you see it under the table there, Mum?
Is it underneath the wreath? No, it's underneath the wreath. I can see it there.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Blaming my dog.
And this time I'm going to do a smaller one. I'm going to see, can I do a double one, okay? So coming in there at the back, and then I'm going to bring it back up, and then I'm going to bring it over the top. Yeah, I'm just about making it up. There we go. There's our double version of it. And then I'm going to scrunch that in the centre. So pull them in really tight together. Get a wire, wrap it around. So what I have is 3 bows. And I'm going to layer them together and make it like one big bow. Now we don't have any hang-tied twine up here, I don't think so.
No.
We have Deirdre's holding the camera, so she can't go and get it. Okay, so now I'm going to...
There's a couple of people asking Janette about the link for the wearables.
Okay, is your one? Is Selena on
She
there
mustn't
tonight?
be on at the moment.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll put it all in the comments. But if you just write the word link, okay, that will remind me that you're looking for the link for the wearables class, because wearable is a hard word to spell.
Yeah.
So just write the word link, and I'll come back and I'll sort that out for you. So I'm just putting our 3 bows together there, and I'm now going to kind of like just maneuver and pull out our loops. And you can see it's just a way of making it kind of a fluffier, full bow. Doing it the slow way, so instead of doing it in all one piece of ribbon, I've done it kind of like as 3 separate bows and put them together. And I forgot to fancy off them last few tails there. There we go, just fancy them ones off there as well. Won't matter. And then the wire, okay, I'm then going to stick that down through the greenery, through the twig ring. So this is where our bow, you see, is going to finish off our 2 joinings. And you could have the bow, because I was planning on putting it on the door sideways, I'm going to have the bow kind of pointing, coming down this way. So where the wire has come through the other end, I'm just going to do like a little hook and stick it back up into the base, just to make sure that it's not going to scratch the door. I'm just trying to find a gap through that twig ring, and then just some of them smaller bits of wire. So again, just flatten them down there at the back, having a little flash there again, fixing my bow, pulling down my little tails, and I haven't got another bit of ribbon left, so I need a little string.
I don't need. I have what you call a doctor's knocker, is it?
So then that Deirdre can then hang that on our knocker, so I can hang it on my knockers. Hang it on your knocker on your whole door. Now that has cost me, like the ring itself is very reasonable, you know, that way they're cheap enough, and any ring will do. The bow, you seen, I made it up out of 3 lengths of ribbon. If you buy Joe Malone perfume, they always wrap the boxes of perfume up with a nice ribbon. So any ribbon and any fabric, like a nice purple or blue, would be gorgeous on that. Deirdre has a white door, so I suppose any colour will work. But again, you could tone the bow in with the colour of your actual door. But there is a door wreath, okay, that's just costing you very little to make. Now I know some of the questions that you're going to have asked me, what about shedding? Because ceanothus does shed. I'm not sure if you can see that in the camera. So when I'm doing my own hair, we use
to stop the shedding.
to stop my hair shedding, okay? This is, the smell of this hairspray is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not an influencer, okay? And I don't have an influencer discount, but I always use Bet10, B-E-T-H, Bet10, Bet15, or Bet5, because the owner of it, that's her daughter's name, and you always get a discount. So go on to Voodoo, And the dry shampoo is absolutely amazing. Now, it's kind of a waste putting it on me flowers, but the scent of this is just off the hairspray itself is fabulous. To be honest, any hairspray will do. It's just this is the hairspray that myself and Deirdre use all the time. So she brought it out to me. So there it is. So now that will stop it shedding, okay? Now the leaf that's on the ceanothus, that's a great lasting foliage. So as I said, you'll get about the 10 days out of it, and it is going to look a bit tired and a bit sick after 10 days. But as I said, we're going to be in somebody else's garden.
We are.
So just put your air code in the comments. We will arrive at your garden with our dog and our mammy and our scissors and bits and pieces, and we'll be all ready to do a door wreath from the comfort of your
And just
garden.
where we're going tomorrow?
Oh yeah. Anybody from Dundalk? We're heading up to County Louth tomorrow, we are. So we're heading up to pick a couple of strawberries. We've heard that we always went to Wexford with the strawberries. We're going to Wexford next weekend, okay? So we've heard that the strawberries up in County Louth, in Carlingford, are supposed to be the juiciest, the largest and the most scrumptious. Now, we have been told to bring our own cream and to bring our own chocolate flake. So we're actually heading up to O'Neill's Flowers up in Carlingford, and I'll have more details later on, but we've 2 demonstrations coming up.
Yeah.
One is going to be for, what's it called, the Dundalk Festival?
The Dundalk.
The Dundalk something?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Can't remember.
But there's going to be cows.
It's going to be cows, yeah, because that's on the...
The Dundalk Agricultural Show, is it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's in some big posh house anyway, up in Dundalk. So we're going to be heading there, I think it's the 8th of June for that. And then on the 1st of July, Oasis Floral Products from the UK are coming to O'Neill's in Carlingford, and we're going up and we're going to be demonstrating the Renewal Floral Foam. That's going to be the new compostable, biodegradable, foam-free, completely friendly, plant-based floral foam that's ideal for flower arrangements. We have had a few trials on it, but we're actually going to demonstrate it in public that you can see us using. I'll have more information, and there's going to be loads of free samples on the day.
Yeah.
There's loads happening. This month is going to be absolutely mental. But so listen, join us. We'll always throw in the odd free course. If anybody is looking for Deirdre there in the back, and the fella over the wall is cutting his grass. Can you hear the noise of him? If anybody is looking for a free taster online flower arranging class, put the word taster in the comments there below, and what we'll do is we'll send you a free link so that you can actually try out an online flower arranging course from the comfort of your own home. I'm having to talk really loud to get over your man's cutting his grass and Jaeger. I mean,
freaking out,
shaking the dog food there in the background to try and attract him. Listen, have a great day, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the weather, and don't forget to wear your sun factor. See you all. Bye bye.